Hello folks, Luke Simons with you. Back to the Basics 101. It's a beautiful April morning. Beautiful day. It is a soggy mess. Today, we are going to go over what it is to have in your vehicle for doing repairs. Fencing repairs, that is. Fencing is a never-ending problem. You know, back in the day when free range was here, we didn't worry about fencing. And fencing was actually for farmers. They fenced us out. When the Homestead Act came, they actually came to fence us ranchers, freelancers, out because we ruled this land. Long story, but there's always been a fight between farmers and ranchers. Why? Well, we claimed large amounts of land back in the day, and most of ranchers got along pretty good with the Indian folks. We just understood that there was a different culture, and for the most part, we lived in peace. It wasn't until the United States government got involved and really caused a lot of problems with the Native American people. That's why you'll see a lot of Native American people today still dress like ranchers, because we are the same folks. We get it. We have the same pressure from the United States government. Now, that being said, we made large deals with Native Americans, and we fed most villages, big ranchers did, kind of as usage on the plains. I have literally hundreds of books on this subject. We got rid of our television, and I started to do this thing called reading. Someday I would like to do a little bit of details on that and just show you some really, really cool books written in the time period and from North American Indians, mountain men, ranchers, explorers, etc. Really some cool insight that really has gotten lost in American literature and history. That being said, ranchers kind of got the bad shake of the deal during the Homestead Act. We own the land or leased it from the Native American people. When the United States government said, no, that's too much land, you can't have it, they took it forcefully. And how they did it is they gave good people reason to move all the way out west and homestead. Well, when they did that, they took our water sources. Rancher without water is not a rancher. Cattle need more than grass to live off of. They need water. And so these farmers came along and they took the water rights and homesteaded it, and it made a violent situation. It wasn't until barbed wire came along that ownership of land really became powerful. Why? You can't plant crops when 1,000 cows are going to come through and mow your corn down. It just doesn't work. So the invention of barbed wire really gave land ownership a new tie. And ranchers just paid cowboys to go along cutting fence. Literally, you could cut fence right behind the crews that did it. It was a very horrible time in our history. A lot of bloodshed, etc. Well, today it's generally recognized that in most counties that it's a fence-in county. Fence in, fence out. Fence out means, hey, if you want your land not to have cows on it, fence it out. But most counties today are a fence in. So if I have cattle, I'm responsible for their whereabouts. A fence out means you're responsible to keep them off your own land. Personally, I like that better, but I'm a rancher. Farmers, probably not so much. There is, I think, 1 or 2 counties in North Dakota that are still fence out. I'm not in one of those. Today I wanted to show you the tools that I keep on my rig. So if I'm Basically, in any pasture whatsoever, these are the tools I have on me at minimum. Do I have on me? Why? It's important. We have elk, moose that come through and destroy fence. And not to mention bulls. Bulls are the worst. If you're fencing in river bottoms or creeks, you're always going to have fence out. Any rain, you're probably going to have fence out, especially in the spring, summer time. Winter, it compresses fences. Now, I know I'm doing a whole series on fencing, and I've had a lot of positive feedback. This isn't the only way to fence. This is what I've accumulated in my recollections of fencing. This is the way I keep organized. I will show you. Also, if you have a better way, let me know. I would love to see it. These are the two I usually keep around the place here. This is my fencing toolbox, and I'll just show you what I have in them. This is my son's here, and this is what a fencing toolbox usually looks like, with a lot of junk. In fact, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit before I started, but they just generally do get a little messy in time. I carry a wood-handled hammer. People say, well, you know, Luke, they break. That's true, they do. But, you know, for fencing, you're not really utilizing, you're not really pulling it back a lot. When I'm in construction type things, I use a metal-handled hammer. But this here, I bought it at an auction sale, and the old timer punched it in, AL, and then he put no his. I love it. That's hilarious. That's probably why I use it too, just because of the personality. And then, of course, I punched it with myself. This hammer got missed. Normally, I paint my hammers so that I don't lose them, especially my son. He just has a tendency to lose them. This here is a really easy way to fix a hammer. You'll always split a wood-handled hammer in time here. Both of these are auction sale hammers. I use my video, you can see in my video actually how to treat a wood-handled hammer. I use a mixture of linseed oil and pine tar, and this handle is just a little dry still, but that's why they split. Just drill yourself a small pilot hole, take yourself a screw with a big head on it, and pop it in, and you'll get a lot of use out of that hammer. I do not like wasting. Some tree had to give its life up for that, holistically. So anyways, good hammer in your box, and a good pliers. All pliers are not built the same. Now, I bought this one back in 2017, and it's actually brand new. I just put it out of the package and stamped it. My son, I picked one up for him, and for I think his birthday, and he loved it. I really liked it. It's a quite heavy-duty hammer end on it. And someday I'll do a video on all the different fencing pliers I have and what they use them for. So you'll always want to pack one of them in there with you. Let's just pull out of here real quick. You always want to take some good nails for making braces and good staples. I have come to grow accustomed to these little Holden staples, I call them. They're a spiked staple, and they are lethal. They're very, very nice. Just more staples to keep a pin for my four-wheeler, for a trailer, etc. Now on this side, and also get yourself a good tray. A good tray is worth its weight in gold. These trays, I think, are probably 8 years old, and they're still holding up good. You'll want to have a lot of wire on hand all the time. And when I'm building fence, I always have one of these bad boys with me. This one's brand new. That's why it's not fluorescent orange. For you picking up your barbed wire, if you watched any of my videos so far, you'll see me demonstrate that. This is a powerful, powerful tool. If you do not have one, get one. You will love it. It's absolutely awesome. And I always keep a brand new bag of staples on hand. So wood-handled hammer, always. The reason for it is light. Because if you're packing it around several miles, it needs to be light. And a good fencing stapler will get you down the road. My son carries basically the same exact thing, same pliers, same wood type hammer. He has a little barbed wire in here for making a mending some wire, which is a good idea. Mine is actually right there.
And he's got a lot of junk in his. And when you're fencing, only use the best wire you can buy. Why? Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't use the best barbed wire you can buy, use the cheap stuff once, and then you'll know why I just said that. Probably a really boring video. Oh, piece of cow cake. In case you get hungry, I guess. Another thing is the fencing stretcher. I will demonstrate a number of different mends on barbed wire. Not today, in an upcoming video. This has been with me since I've been married, so this has been with me for going on 19 years. They virtually last forever. You can buy rebuild kits for these, new springs, etc. They're very, very tough. You're going to need one of these bad boys to mend fence properly. This is just mending fence, not building fence. Mending fence, which is a big difference.
Now, one thing a person doesn't always usually think about is a tool belt. A good tool belt, especially when you're making fence, like brand new fence, and you're walking miles, a good tool belt. Now, this is just a cheapo, but in here I keep my wires, and every once in a while you drop one. And in here I keep my staples, just in case you need a staple. On this side, I just took a makeshift thing. I think I got it in an auction sale somewhere. This is an electrician's tool belt, and I just keep my fencing pliers in here like so, always at my hand. That way I can grab this, come over here, and I'm in business. Well, not there, I guess, right here. And I can just make my fence all together, work on it like so. Afterwards, tools there. Hammer, always. Makes it so much nicer. In a pinch, yeah, I'll put a staple in. I'll put a staple in with a good fencing pliers, you know. But it's not a hammer. It's really not a hammer. This is actually made by Crescent, and it's a good fencing plier. One of the best I've found so far. And you can kind of see where that's nice. A couple little extra pockets, and believe me, you'll end up filling them up. But this is nice. I only keep my fencing pliers in there. Hammer here, and wood hammer at that, because it doesn't need to be real heavy duty. And it's lighter, wood handle light. And staples, wires, keep a couple nails in here as well, and you're good to go.
Now, if you're rigged up like this and you have your tray like this, you're going to be able to fence probably all day long with the materials in here, unless you run into a real bugger. If you're from Canada, bugger is a bad word, so I apologize. It's come to my attention that a lot of words are bad words. I have Amish friends. If you say the word shyster, to them, that's like calling someone a son of a bleep, a female dog. That's a really naughty word to them. I didn't know that. I had no clue about that. If you, let's see here, I think bugger is a bad word in Canada, I'm pretty sure. Boy, there's a bunch of them like that. And I had no clue. So if I offend you, no, I don't intentionally mean to swear at all. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these shows, please show us by hitting the thumbs up button, leaving comments, and etc. We so enjoy hearing from you. Until next time, this is Luke Simons. Happy trails.